Hey folks, welcome back to the Workplace Innovator podcast. It's me, Mike P., and I am so excited about today's episode of the show. Thanks for joining. Are you subscribed on YouTube, listening, watching, saying you're a fan of the show? If so, please do that on YouTube because we're trying to build an audience there and it's relatively new. Not everybody knows these full videos are available for you because most people listen to this podcast on Apple, Spotify, wherever audio podcasts are heard. And one of the people who found us that way, I don't know how many years ago, we're going to find out, has an amazing story to tell, not just because he's a fan of the show, but because he has an aspiring career in the world of workplace and facility management. And I just want to learn all about it because that at its core is what this podcast is about, telling the stories of the people who care for the people inside of our built environments. And one of those folks is joining us from New York City, Staten Island to be exact. His name is Anthony Lucca. Anthony, welcome to the Workplace Innovator podcast.
Hey, Mike, thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here. It's like an honor. So thank you so much.
Oh, the honor's mine. And it's amazing to have finally a chance to record one of our conversations. We've chatted over the last few weeks and few years. When did you first discover DJ Mike P?
Oh, man, maybe in like 2021. I think I was going into Workplace and I wanted to find more information to find out how I could be a better workplace professional. And I went on audio books and things, and I went into podcasts, and you were the one that I geared to the most. I was like, oh, got to subscribe to this one. I got to follow this show. So that's how I found out.
Amazing. Thank you. That's amazing. That's awesome. And I hope the show has helped, not me, but all my amazing guests, or what we 100%. Try to do, have these conversations and share stories about, the career in the world of facility management or real estate, corporate real estate, the workplace, and all of the areas that connect to our offices and our places of work and the people, right? It's all about the people. That's what I love most about this. And I imagine that's why you got into it or want to get into it further. What is the story of Anthony Lucca? How did you end up in the world of workplace?
Absolutely. No, definitely. This is also how I found IFMA too, from the show. So nice. Back a few years back, I was working retail jobs and I found myself at Apple Retail on Staten Island. Loved the role. I learned I love people, technology, and customer support. So I wanted to get all of those no matter where I went in my career. But I did want not retail hours. I wanted to work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and I wanted to work with part of a team, but I still wanted to work with people very much. So I was like, okay, I could work with the employees. That's perfect. And that's kind of how I got myself into, like the facilities and workplace management side of things.
That's awesome. And you mentioned IFMA. How did you connect with IFMA, and what have you done with them so far? Are you involved with any of the chapters up there in New York City?
No, not yet. Not at the moment. When I was in my last role, I was really trying to figure out more about it. I was ready to jump into a chapter. But right now I was studying for the FMP certification, as well as with my CAPM, Certified Associate in Project Management. That's on another one.
Sure.
But I'm definitely looking to get my FMP cert. And I found it from listening to your podcast years ago.
Well, that's amazing. IFMA, are you listening? Some people actually listen to this show and then kind of find their way to the IFMA certifications page, which is amazing. FMP, SFP, and later your CFM someday, maybe. We'll talk about it, right? I want to get into the career journey, where you are and where you've been and where you want to go. But Anthony, I've already had a chance to get to know a little of your personality. You're always upbeat, smiling, peppy, bringing that inspiration. And I know you must listen to music, right? Give me something here that my audience can get inspired by. What do you like to listen to?
Mike, I wanted to share this with you because my first original favorite band when I was discovering music at my early my teenage years, it was U2 was my favorite band. Absolutely.
I thought you were way too young for that. That's an old guy band. Come on. But they're still putting out new stuff. They're still out there.
Yeah. I think they just dropped a new album not too long ago.
Yeah.
But that was my first favorite band when I was trying to discover music. And I was looking for my favorite song because I heard it on the radio. It was called Bittersweet Symphony by The Verve. Song changed my life. It's my favorite song of all time. But my favorite band, Mike, I don't know if you might know it. I kind of hope you do. It's called Collective Soul.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. So many people. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
Oh, heaven, let your light shine down. I love that
Dolly
song.
Parton actually covered that song. It's a great
Oh,
band.
did
It's
she?
my favorite. Yeah, it's a great song. Great band. I saw them live in New York City in Irving Plaza. It blew my mind. They've been my favorite band for maybe almost a decade now. Yeah,
That's so cool.
They're still coming out with new albums too. Yeah.
Listen, we're connecting, man. Anthony,
Yeah.
you and me, you too. The Verve. What was the other one you mentioned?
Collective Soul, my favorite.
Collective Soul.
Yeah.
The Verve was what was their big hit?
Oh, Bittersweet Symphony was our biggest hit.
Okay, Collective Soul. What was their big hit?
It was probably Shine.
Shine.
Yeah,
That's the
Shine
one.
was the big one. Yeah.
Oh, Bittersweet Symphony. That's right. That's what I wanted to do. The violins.
Yes,
Am I talking about the right
violin.
song?
No, that's
Okay.
absolutely that's
All right.
it. Yeah. Once
DJ
I heard
Mike
that, I
P.
got tingles.
Still has it. I got them all confused and put together. But
No,
everybody,
you're well-versed.
listen to YouTube. Check her out there. Check out their Spotify. They're releasing new songs. They just put out a new song this summer called La Calle de los Sueños or something. The Street of Dreams. And they filmed it in Mexico City. The video is really cool. And there's a new album coming out. They've had some EPs this spring, which are amazing. But enough about music. What about inspirational quotes? Are you a fan of the motivation through quotes?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I got a few for you I can share.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of my favorite ones, because when you self-doubt and things like that, it's Theodore Roosevelt said this one. It was believe you can and you're already halfway there. I think that one was really cool because, sometimes as just starting to believe in yourself that you can overcome a challenge. That's something that I worked on in the last few years. Believing in myself was something I struggled with. So when I looked up these quotes, I'm like, yeah, I guess you're halfway there as long as you just start and then you learn along the way. So that's one of my favorite ones.
Right? Optimism is key. And we're all going to face challenges. We all have those times of doubt and imposter syndrome or places where you feel like, oh, I don't know if I could do this or nobody's going to,
overwhelm.
It's overwhelming. And you need to have that attitude to get through and not to be perfect and not to get it right all the time, but it's all these lessons you're learning as you go.
Yeah. Nature
that's
of the
fantastic.
course.
What else you got? Another quote? I like it.
Yeah. Let me see what else I was reading. This one was by Steve Jobs, coming from Apple. I had to look up a Steve Jobs quote, so I saved that one.
Of course.
And I liked it when I read it. It was the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. And that's and don't settle. Steve Jobs. So I'm like, okay, hey, if Steve's saying it, I can immediately relate to it.
Love what you do. That was a WeWork slogan, wasn't it? Also?
It's my LinkedIn banner too. It's one of my favorite phrases.
Yes, I saw that.
I got that from WeWork. Definitely always loved when I saw that because, the classic one. If you find out what you love to do, you'll never work a day in your life, even though it's still somewhat true. I still really enjoy it. I don't get Sunday scaries doing what I do.
That.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I couldn't relate more.
Very good. And who that originally came from, attributed to, the quote, if you love what you do and do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. I always thought it was somebody in the 80s when I was starting out and thinking about my future career. I read books by Zig Ziglar. Do you know Zig Ziglar by chance?
I don't.
He's
sounds familiar.
no longer with us. Again, dating myself, but he had this deep Southern voice, and he would say, "Mike," he didn't talk to me personally.
That's pretty good.
It was pretty good. He said, "You need to do what you love what you do." Anyway,
that's it. That's right.
What else can I talk to you about? Speaking of your LinkedIn, Anthony.
Yeah.
I love your banner, your headline. It says workplace operations, facility and project management, employee experience, software support, and a kindness advocate. Kindness. I love kindness. But tell me about it. Why do you want to be in the world of workplace and facilities?
Yeah. Oh, great question, Mike. I think I am so happy I found Workplace. Because when I was going to college, I was working at Apple full time, going to college full time. And I was studying for corporate communications. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll go into public relations or something. And it's such a wide range that you could do with a communications degree. And I found myself fitting into workplace operations, office management, facilities. And it's just, you get to wear so many hats. And the way I kind of like that. I like that no 2 days are the same. And there's always going to be new exciting changes, whether it be an office move, office expansion, what have you. So I kind of like the unpredictability or the pace of it. So that's kind of what guided me to wanting to go into facilities. Also coming from blue collar family, facilities, electricians, plumbers, oil mechanics, I kind of like talking to that type of the facility aspects, facility vendors. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, the tradespeople and the technical folks are the ones who make our world work. The built environment can't survive
100%.
without them. And whereas many of my guests are in a managerial role at this point, or they're leading teams, we all need to work together. And I love those communities of blue collar, hardworking people who are doing their best each day. And that's what it's all about. The fact you mentioned you've had a chance to dabble in this career, you're young, right? I keep talking to you like as if it's all starting and you have the future ahead of you. I think that you do, right? You're in the beginning of this journey, whereas many of my guests are, have been doing it for 30 or 40 years, right?
Yeah.
But tell me about your role at Plaid, because that was kind of an interesting one.
Oh,
Your workplace operations coordinator.
Yeah, that was just an incredible experience. Great company, great culture, great people, right? I was in this building called the Puck Building at the time, and they're no longer there. Another company got that spot. But it was great. The culture was so lively because I come from Staten Island, still part of New York City, but it wasn't that fast-paced vibe of like a tech startup.
Right.
Inside of especially fintech, financial technology. But it was great. About 150 employees. I had a team of 4. They were great. I'm going out to dinner with them again next month. We still keep in touch. It's fantastic.
That's where you make your friends. Yeah,
absolutely. You make connections and they were guiding me along on, I had imposter syndrome when I first got in. I'm like, oh, okay. How do I figure this out? This is different than the pace of WeWork and the pandemic, so this is a little bit more fast paced. But yeah, it was just a great company. Overall, we had food and beverage program that you couldn't believe, and learning all these really cool things that other offices maybe not have done, like wrapping up your mice and keyboards. I heard a story that they used to give new hires their technology on their first day, gift wrapped at their desk. So that was really a cool little personal touch. So I learned a lot from that company. Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Company. Remembering the people, the workforce is not just the workforce. It's human beings who have
favorite part.
Need for connection and feeling a part of something bigger and a mission. And we're all part of that journey together. Yeah. And what you get to be in making it all work is a workplace innovator. The name of this show, and you've been listening for a number of years. Again, thank you, Anthony. And thank you for filling out the survey last summer.
Of course.
To, when we reached out for feedback to our listeners about what we could do better, one of those things, I don't know if you said it, but many people said, make more video. So the fact that we're on YouTube today is thanks to maybe you and people like you. So
right on. That's awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But the Workplace Innovator title is something we've kind of carried this torch for many, many years now. What do you think of when you think about what it takes to be innovative in our workplaces today?
Absolutely. You got to think of the next step. I mean, I listen to a lot of your podcasts. A lot of it's revolving around AI, a lot of big talks. And I'm like, wow, AI got itself into the workplace experience and operations side. I'm like, wow, AI's everywhere. So I feel like, keeping up to date, because even when you're doing like certifications in IFMA or you're learning about, commercial real estate, it's still rapidly changing, just because it's not specifically tech. It's still, you got to keep up with what company, what kind of organization that you're in, like fast-paced tech companies or even old-school real estate companies. You still got to keep it fresh. You got to find new ways to make it exciting, make it a strong culture, a good, efficient office space. So I think kind of like around those lines. That's kind of how I go about it.
I like that. Yeah, it's very well said. It's something that, again, is the focus of this show, and in your answer, it reminds me of the people and the human beings that are occupying our places and spaces are our responsibility in many ways. It's HR, of course, seems to be, human resources or the people team is the one who you think of first, but we work hand in hand of FM world, the real estate world, all trying to create a built environment where people can thrive and flourish and be productive and connection, make those connections and do their best work and love what they do, right? To tie it all together.
That's right.
But what have you learned, Anthony, in the times you've had these opportunities? What have you learned about human behavior? I know that we often talk here about, when it comes to technology, change management and communication and explaining to people why we're doing what we're doing, what the policy is, what the strategy is, why the design is what it is. What are your thoughts on that?
Excellent question. Oh man, I'm thankfully a people person. I'm 3 E's. I'm enthusiastic, energetic, and empathetic. And I feel like that's like I had to have went. There's no other route. I had to work with people. I had to work with people. Yeah.
Every personality test Anthony has ever taken. It's off the charts.
Right. All the quizzes. They're like, be an office manager. You know. But I think working with people, man, Mike, it was from Apple. You know, and I had jobs before Apple, but Apple, WeWork, Plaid. It's so great getting to know different personalities, you get to know them, and it's so nice. You feel like the world's so much better than the news makes it out to be that way too. You get to know people personally. That's one of my favorite aspects. Like, how was your cousin's wedding that you went to this weekend? Or how was congrats on your engagement. You know, I'm really enthusiastic about people, which I use my personality traits to make sure that people are feeling that in their office. They're like, oh man, you know, I go in, I see Anthony smile, and I know he's got the office good. The snacks are great, drinks are good, and makes me feel like I'm happy to be in the office space, especially in a hybrid world or remote world or company. So I feel like, that's kind of like one of my favorite aspects, just getting to know people and learning from them. That's one of my favorite things. I've learned so much. My other workplace coordinator at Plaid, who I'm very close with still, taught me so many different type of things about culture and about the world, you know, food, you know, every which way that I would, at the age of my early 30s, I should have maybe known a little bit more, but I was just happy to learn from their experiences about when they traveled, about their other companies, working in hotels, working in the food industry in a community, or working on events. You know, it was really one of my favorite things about getting to know people.
Yeah, absolutely, Anthony. So much can be learned from the hospitality industry, whether it's hotels or food service or great chefs and people creating these wonderful feelings around gathering places. And I've had some guests on recently about that. Check the archives, everybody, if you haven't heard it. But I mean, this is the type of stuff. There's a great opportunity, I think, for our FM world and the IFMA community broadly to really have an impact on those workplace experiences and the environment, the vibe, if I could use, your generation's term. And I'm trying not to sound like an old guy here, but I just love this because your energy and your enthusiasm is infectious, and it rubs off on DJ Mike P.
Much.
But with that in mind, you have a chance. You're new to the world of IFMA. You're pursuing your credentials, but you've not been involved yet in a chapter, and you've not gone to the big events like World Workplace or Facility Fusion, I'm sure. Yep. What should you get from those? What would, if they're listening to us, our friends at IFMA are listening and they want to know from someone like you who is absolutely wants to get engaged and is interested 100%. In learning more, what are you looking for from an organization like IFMA?
Oh man, very similar to what I was saying about my people from my previous companies, getting to know more, networking, getting to know what worked for them, what route they took, why they took that route, in the workplace world. I think that's kind of like my key aspect. If I could just network and get to actually make friends, not just networking for like, hey, you'll do something for me one day. No, I want to get to know, just let me know your life. Let me know your personal story, and professional story. I think that's kind of what, first and foremost, I'm looking for that. But second, I want to know about operational efficiency. I kind of want to learn, like, what kind of software tools were you working with? Or, we kind of relate, sometimes I'm talking to people like, oh my God, you use that software? We did too. Yeah. And we kind of just hit it off. It's funny what we get interested in and what we bond over, like software tools, workplace software tools these days. But I feel like that's something, I'm looking forward to too, is, what methods they took or what kind of policies they put in place, and how do we adapt with the new age of modern workplaces? Kind of like, as much as I'm intrigued, but I want to make sure I'm approaching these new opportunities the right way, and hearing it from people who already went through that. That's like one of my favorite aspects.
I love that, Anthony. And I can attest, as someone who's been to many, many IFMA events and has been involved for, I think, close to 15 years now. Those are the type of people you will meet if you make your way to a conference or even your local chapter. Shout outs to everybody up in the New York City chapter. And there's some surrounding chapters that I've had a chance to speak with and be involved with over the years. And they're just great people. It's universal wherever I go. It's a great, great organization and a great community. And that's the
100%.
thing you have to look forward to. So keep me informed on your journey as you get involved and have these opportunities
100%.
and these connections. I think it'll be great to hear. Hey, I'm looking at the clock. The time goes by so fast when we're chatting here on the show. But before I let you go, I do want to ask you one final question about what you would share with my audience of workplace leaders as we want to make the best and want to make the most of our opportunity to help the people around us, bring some of that enthusiasm from Anthony Lucca. What would you say as we head into the future together?
Oh man, I think one of the things I would say is build your community. And that's kind of what I'm hoping to do with IFMA and my next companies. I want to build that community. So really focus on fostering those connections and those relationships, whether that be professionally, personally, that'll help you in your own professional life. I think that's like my biggest takeaway or biggest thing I can share, because you got to be somewhat of a people person to really enjoy, there's so many aspects of workplace and facilities that you're working with people, whether it be customers, vendors, employees, leadership, so many different walks of life. So building your community and putting yourself out there. I think it sounds cliche or classic, but I think that's something that I would definitely encourage people to do. And that's what I'm going to be doing in my next, phase of my life. Now I'm like, I can't wait to go to chapters, go to these meetings. I know one was in Las Vegas. I want to be traveling around and meeting other professionals with the same interests. And I'm just going to be growing from there. And hopefully I'll be teaching others my experience and they'll be growing from my conversations with them. So building the community is first and foremost for me.
Great stuff, Anthony. And
Thank you,
if
Mike.
you're not naturally like Anthony on that extrovert, personal, kind of personality where you're outgoing all the time naturally, first of all, know that he's not that way all the time. He has to probably work at it even with his natural inclinations. But you also, and people like me who have a platform like this, have a chance to bring in those who maybe are more introverted or more shy about putting themselves out there and bridging that gap and making those connections happen and building that community. Because we need everybody. We need all of you to be involved, regardless of your role, regardless of your default settings and your personality type. It's
100%.
What brings us all together is that we're all different, yet we have so much more in common than not. So that's what the purpose of this show is. And Anthony, you've and I've just shook the camera to really emphasize the impact you've had today. It's like an earthquake hitting this podcast. So thank you for being on the Workplace Innovator podcast.
Thank you so much, Mike. It's a pleasure being here with you.
And thank you all for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. And if so, I hope you'll share this episode with a colleague or a friend, anyone who might like to join us as we continue on our journey to encourage and inspire you to be a workplace innovator. Peace out, everybody.